Okay, Kent, review of your lesson from yesterday, the 24th of January, and seeing some progress here, so good news. Setup is excellent. I did move this hand back, right? I think, yeah, we moved this hand back just a little bit. So you're going to want to neutralize that left hand. Just the thumb would go a little bit more down the middle of the shaft and be stretched down a little longer. So that's going to take a couple days to get adjusted to, but it's time to do that because you're swinging you're swinging differently now. So this was a grip that I suggested because I put a lot of my high handicap and newer players over pretty far to the left like that. To left hand to the right like that, and then I bring it back gradually as the swing develops. So I think it's time to do that for you, or you're going to be hitting a lot of hooks now instead of that big block slice. Keep that elbow nice and tucked in there. You're turning better. Your shoulders still get a little steep, steeper than what we want them. So your spine's a little tilt here, right? You're always leaning back a little bit in golf with the upper body because the right hand's lower than the left, and when you reach a little further down on the club like that, it's going to put that right shoulder a little bit lower. And you want to try to keep that tilt as much as you can. See, for you it gets a little straighter, so that right hip goes up. It's not bad though, it's your turn's improving clearly. Your transition still gets a bit steep. In other words, it gets more vertical than we want it coming down. We want it to point at the ball, not too much at the ground. And then we want to let it turn through. But that's good impact position, huh? Yeah, some of this you just have to feel around for it a little bit, right? That's the reason you get heel hits sometimes on your driver, because your hands go out. Excuse me. That'll be just enough to hit the heel, and the heel, no matter where the path is coming from, the heel will tend to have a little cut on it, a little slice. But your path is inside the ball. It's really a good path right now. You can see a little heel contact there, and you'd see it wouldn't take much of your hands going out to contact the heel. So you want to just feel that the hands stay tucked to the body. And again, it's a little steep on the pull down, but that's not bad. I mean, the thing you want to focus on from this thing is really letting the left arm lengthen. That's your biggest challenge. This has been with you from the beginning, and it's left over from the days of when you used to really tilt a lot. In other words, we retrained your motion to get a little bit less to this. You're really balanced pretty good here. Probably still a little dippy at times. By dippy, I mean you see where the level of your head is. You still lean in a little bit, but it's better than what it was. When it was very leaned on the left side and leaning into the ball, you were forced into a situation where you had to shorten that lead arm to avoid hitting the ground on fat shots. So what we're trying to do here is make sure that the left arm starts to learn to lengthen. And you don't let this right shoulder drop coming through the ball. So the more you can keep the shoulders level, not too steep, not too much on this pitch, but the more you can get them level coming through, the more you're going to be able to get that left arm extended. One goes with the other. You know, that's the thing. I'm not sure if you're using an interlocking or an overlapping grip. Or is it 10 finger? I can't tell. We might want to talk about that again soon too. But the biggest thing I'm trying to get you to do is keep the right side up a little bit so that this arm can get longer coming down. Because if you notice your hips and your weight motion here is really going a lot better. There's still more of this hang back feeling that we want, where it gets your upper body all the way over your left leg. Like eventually you get to. Do you see where it is now? Your upper body's over your left leg. All we have to do is get that motion. See how your shoulders are kind of parallel to the ground? Well, that motion a little bit earlier in your downswing would be desirable to get that left arm extended. That's probably your last big challenge. You stop rocking under the ball, and then you'll stop the chicken winging with the left arm. You know, as long as there's a tilt to the left side, more or less, in the backswing, then a tilt back to the right side with the shoulders rocking, you know, instead of turning level, you'll always fight that left arm contraction or chicken wing. And on this end, you're just going to make sure that keep your hands in nice and tight to your body as you turn. That's going to be a big difference for you. And you're making a lot of progress, really. I mean, you're hitting the good shots you hit are quality shots. And you ask about a 3-wood. I don't think, you know, is necessary yet, but if you continue progressing like this, you're going to have holes as you come down in your handicap. You're going to have holes where you can get near the green in 2 shots, and you'll get a little bit more out of the 3-wood. I wouldn't do it right away. We'll get some more training under your belt before we jump into it, but I think eventually it'll be a good addition to your bag. Yeah, and don't let this club work outside. See how it works away? Your hands really work away from your body right away. So when that goes outside like that, that can cause the hands to be too far out when you hit it and get on that heel sometimes. But this part here with your turn through, you add the left arm extension to it and keep the body nice and level as you turn through. It's just getting a lot better. I mean, it really is. See, you remember one thing too, as I said before, if your hands, they start out, see where they are, and now they're going to move away from your body here a little bit. That's just enough to get this club outside your hands, and that's just enough to hit the heel. Thing to remember about the construction of a golf club, anything that you hit on the heel or toward the heel side will be pushed to the right and have some right curve on it. It's called gear effect on the club. It's odd the way it works, but when you hit the heel, the club actually closes. But because the club has bulge on it from toe to heel, if you can picture that, it has a gear effect. In other words, the spin is in the opposite direction. So that's why touring pros are so good, because they hit the golf ball in the middle of the club all the time. And if you keep your hands in a little bit closer, you're going to have that effect too. Okay? So keep your hands in close to your body, stay level with your turn, and a good turn through, and make sure you get your weight, your upper body over your lower as you extend your arm.